What's up, guys? Hope you're doing good. I know I am. I thought I'd just record some thoughts so you could listen to this like a podcast, or if you're at work or something, if the things I say are interesting to you. I don't have a plan for this, but I don't know, I just had a lot of ideas lately. The big one is dystopian ideas, or viewing the world in a dystopian light, like I have for a very long time. I know a lot of people in various, ways have pessimism, cynicism. They harbor these emotions, and the world's not all good, but I think that the pessimism and cynicism and just overall how distraught people are is largely totally unjustified and misguided. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience here with trust me, dude, I'll freaking write you a paper criticizing society from every angle and then criticize every angle. It's easy to complain. It's easy to point out problems. It's easy to think things are bad. It's just a thought. It's just something you can say. In reality, though, when you look at our lives, there's just no comparison. It's the best time to have ever been alive. It is that simple. Why is this the case? Why are dystopian thinkers and people that harbor dystopian perspectives and feelings, why are they just completely wrong? I think they're completely wrong because their metrics and how they construct their arguments, they do it from a place, it's erroneous. Their pretenses are erroneous. The foundations of the arguments are illegitimate, and the reason why is that? And I'm speaking so broadly here, but I'm serious about any dystopian thinker. It's foundationless, because individual freedom and the power of the average person worldwide. I'm just going to speak about the so-called first world. I'm in America. It's just to even suggest any idea of comparability or incomparability is to completely misunderstand just how different and how much better we have it today than anyone in the entire history of mankind, okay? The internet, iPhones, smartphones, these things that are just literally part of, it's just normal to have the internet. Are you serious, dude? Even 40 years ago, there's no internet. What does the internet enable us to do? Oh my God, you couldn't even try to explain it. It's just insane how revolutionary it is. And one example of that is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is fucking nutty, dude. I've been thinking about that lately because I've spent thousands of hours on Wikipedia reading all sorts of stuff about people and eras and what different people think, and conflicts and history and science or math, whatever. It's literally an effort to, while not perfect, it's a directory for general information about everything. Like, it's like so stunningly brilliant. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. But this, I having spent so much time on Wikipedia, I'll be on one article, read through it, be something else in that catches my eye, I click through to that, and I can click through it and go on really, truly awesome adventures in an intellectual sense. And that is unprecedented, and I am so incredibly privileged to be able to do that. And I think that there's an effect that and the internet has on us. I think that it's completely changing everything. I think that people are becoming wired in a new and prior to now impossible way. What I mean by this is look at AI, for example. AI is now, all these things, but you show it a ton of photos of bees, and then now it can identify what a bee is. And I don't know anything about how neural networks or anything like that works, but the point I'm making is humans are the exact same way. Like, from having this resource of the internet and being exposed to exponentially more photos and information than even my parents were, than my parents ever have been exposed to, okay? But being exposed to all this information, which again, this is completely unprecedented, nothing like it at all ever, has played a huge role in my mental development. And I don't want to sound or come off as bragging here, because it has nothing to do with that, but my mind works in new ways and on a level that it's just obvious. So many notions and paradigms and things of the past are just obvious. And again, I don't think I'm special with this. I think that this is a society-wide thing. I think this is true for everybody. Now, obviously, everyone's different, and there are different levels of intelligence, but everybody has, if you're using the internet, you go through this if you spend your time exposing yourself curiously to all of this information, you will see the world and think in amazing and unprecedented ways. And I think that, I'm only 21, and that's the thing I've been realizing lately, and with all of the realizations, and then all of the realizations about all the realizations, it's like, oh my gosh, like, I've come so far, I make progress so quickly. My mind and ideas are so they progress so fast that I don't even know where I'm going to be a year from now, much less 10 years from now. It's like every time, it's like getting to the top of a hill and then you see another hill even higher than that. And that is a good analogy, in my opinion, for the progression of an individual in, a very spiritual sense of becoming, you could say, enlightened. I don't really like that term, but you get the idea of accumulating knowledge and wisdom and leveling up in a literal sense within the world and mentally. We are beings that it is innate. It is our nature to do better, to make progress, to learn, to figure out, okay? And what was the point of that? Well, realizing that you're in that process and that you're always in that process is, for me, very exciting. It just makes me, I'm just appreciative of existence itself. The mere fact of existence becomes remarkable when you understand, or when you think about our existence in that light of what we are. We yearn to progress, to get better, to learn. It's kind of like there's some limitation on language to speak about it beyond that, but it's just totally awesome. But with access to the internet and how my ideas and understanding of the world develop so rapidly, you could also think like, historically, at least in the history of civilization, before industrial society and before the printing press, right? Think about how limited your beliefs are and the information and the ideas that you have access to. I mean, people look back at freaking whatever time, and this is getting back to people that are think in dystopian terms. I mean, when was it better, and why was it better then? Like, because you understand it, because you can make sense of it, because you know what happened, what went on, and then therefore you feel like if you existed at that time, then you would just know what to do, and your role in the world would be obvious and figured out. It's like, no, every person always has been just like you. They make decisions for themselves. They have to choose how they want to affect the world and choose what they do day in, day out. It's just that our choices today are fucking literally we have infinitely more choices today than any time in history. And I think the negative emotions and sentiments come from a place of being disoriented by how vast and how unobvious it is what your purpose should be. And in that disorientation, there's a longing for having orientation, having a clear, role or something like this, but this is something that should be celebrated. It's just that simple. There's nothing about being born in a different time or with a different culture or society where you have 1% of the freedom to choose what you do and what you think that we do today. There's nothing to that. It's a sham. It's an illusion. an idea that you need it needs to be done away with entirely. And yeah, just with our freedom and our opportunity and our abundance. Okay, let's think about abundance. Obviously, there's incredible abundance of food and water, and I mean, people give so much money to charity every year. There's tons of abundance. People often speak about abundance in material or physical sense, and it's very true. But what about the abundance of information and tools we have access to? Bro, a calculator? It's just unthinkable to live in a world without a fucking calculator. Okay? Calculators are awesome. And that is a simple, one of the defining characteristics of a computer. Computers are not calculators outright, but I'm talking about, the calculator. We all have them on our phones now, but we've all used them in school and stuff. I mean, a world where you don't have a device that you can just punch it in and boom, get the answer. Life is just so much more limited, so much more basic. And it's more basic because there's infinitesimally less opportunity to do stuff, because you're not capable of doing things because you don't have the tools and the information and the resources to do those things. The abundance of information, that is the biggest thing, and what I was talking about earlier. And again, this is something that it's just so normalized, having this unreal, more or less free access to this universe. I was going to say ocean, it's a goddamn universe of information, okay? And the fact that the people do not view this, aren't actively grateful for this, that it's lost on them how amazing that is, and what that enables them to do. It just needs to be changed. I mean, you're not doing yourself any good by having a negative outlook on this stuff. It really, at the end of the day, is not inherently good or bad. I think maybe you can make a case that it's inherently good. I don't know. But it's certainly not inherently bad. It's just like any tool. You choose how you use it. And we need to stop blaming our problems on things external to us. And I'm not saying no one's a victim of anything ever. I'm not saying that you should be totally stoic and never feel anything ever, right? I'm saying that if you're unhappy with how you use your phone, then you can change how you use your phone. Okay? Like, what do you not like about the technology? Like, the technology just exists. You choose how you use it, and you can choose to be very unhealthy with it. I've been very unhealthy with it, but I don't have to be. And it's just technology is not the problem. The problem is how we use technology. And when you realize the opportunity that technology and the internet and the access to all the information, what this enables you to do is be a million times whatever you could have ever possibly wanted to be in a previous time. You want to be a mathematician? Well, you have more access to math resources than ever before, for free, always, in your home. In your home, dude. People eat fucking libraries, man. This is in your home. The technology is a reflection of you, okay? That might sound cliche, but whatever you are searching, literally all the internet does is accelerate your ability to think and exist and process information. So if you ever have a question or you were curious about anything, the internet is like, here's your curiosity, and then 100 years ago, maybe like the next day, you go to the library, if you even can, if there even is a library around. And then they maybe have a book and it might be all right, or they might not even have a book, okay? So before, this is your curiosity, and this is how far you can get with it, and the rate, okay? Now, here's your curiosity, and with the internet. Curiosity, it's that simple, dude. It's that simple. I want to think of a way to say that for anyone that's just listening. Curiosity before the internet is very slow, and you would be far less capable of satiating it or expanding it. I mean, it's just that simple. Especially in a world without the printing press, dude. Are you kidding me? Everyone's got to write every single book by hand. Dude, think of people in class, man, would say, oh, we got to take notes, or oh, I got to copy this down, whatever the hell. Dude, people whine about writing dude, my God, dude. But okay, curiosity with the internet, you're curious, and the moment you're curious, you have answers and access to more resources and ideas and perspectives on the thing you're curious about than anyone else has ever had perspectives on anything, everything in their entire lives. You go from 0 to 1 billion with the internet. Without the internet, you go from 0 to 24 hours later to maybe you get a little bit of information. I mean, come on, dude. Like, I mean, what does it say about society that our lives are so easy? Oh my God. And we have so much abundance and more privileges and opportunity than at any point in the past. And so many people are depressed or overweight or obese or have a dystopian outlook on society and the world. You know, this is a big question because it's like the hunch I have is you know, someone's orchestrating it. When you exist in such an incredible, beautiful, glorious, achieved society that has something like the internet and everyone has access to it. When you have a society like that and 70% of people are obese or overweight, there's tons of people taking pills to not be depressed. I mean, how do you answer that? What's going on? Why? Yeah, that's a big question. I do not have the answers at the moment. I think that is a new point of inquiry for me. I realize just now why is everyone this way? And I mean, if you're watching this, you probably know I'm not freaking peanut brained freaking. Oh well, we did one study and this is why people are depressed. Dude, get the fuck out of my face with that. You're gonna do your fucking sociology fucking study and tell me why people in society are depressed? Are you fucking God? Do you know everything? What the fuck could possibly be in your goddamn study? Oh, if people spend more time in the sun, then they're happier. Wow. Oh my God. Fucking people that do studies, man. Holy shit. Anyway, back to the point. Why is it this way? And again, I'm asking this question as someone who has been stuck in that space. And you know what, now that I think about it, it actually, my recent depression and dissatisfaction with life coincides 1-to-1 with something that started at the beginning of 2020. Yep. And I'm not going to get into that. I don't give a fuck about the politics of that or any at all. But when that happened was really a turning point, and I'm sure everyone can agree with that or has a similar experience. It's just everything was completely different, man. And yeah, so interesting topic. Another thing that I've wanted to talk about is Bitcoin, and just Bitcoin is another thing on the same line of thought as how amazing technology is. Bitcoin is like the equivalent in terms of human civilization. The only thing you could equate it to is fire, okay? And if you're listening to this, I have no idea what you think, obviously. I don't know, people have different ideas and whatever, they think about crypto, NFT scams, whatever. I'm speaking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin only, okay? And I know that idea kind of sounds fanatical, that Bitcoin is the equivalent of fire, but I want to give an overview of why that is. So half of everything, half of energy is in what we call a store of value or unit of account or money. Okay, half of literally all of energy and human everything is in money, because money is half of every transaction. If I buy a bike, I give you money. Okay, it's 1/2 of every single transaction. Period. That's what money is. Okay. And there's a history of money, and people have studied the history of money. And it started out in the farthest back archaeological findings that I've heard of, I have not verified this, are things like glass beads or sea shells and stuff like that. Well, those are really bad forms of money, because there's an example of when Europeans got to America, the American people used shells as money. Well, the Europeans knew how to make shells, and they did, and then they traded with the Americans. Obviously, we're talking about pre-Columbian Americans. For valuable things that they possessed with shells that were really easy for them to make, because they still valued the shells when really they weren't valuable, because they had been debased because they didn't just make them. So early on, you get the precious metals. You get things that are more difficult to forge, gold, silver, bronze, whatever, and those were money, or the unit of exchange. And soon after that, there would be people that kept the gold, and there's all this. There's the problem of how do you do a transaction or make a trade over distance when you're really far away, you only have a horse and wagon, and that's just a very difficult thing to do. Well, you can have someone that's trusted say, this person now owns this percentage of our store of gold, and then that can be delivered as the form of payment. But these things are easily forged, and so, but that's the beginning of paper money, where it's just literal paper that is worthless outside of whatever value people attribute to it. And the history of paper money is where we find ourselves today with U.S. dollars, which are very difficult to counterfeit, and there's something like 160 global currency monies or something like that, and that is incredibly inefficient in a global context, because you're basically just bartering at that point, because there's how do you value all these currencies in relation to each other? And there's people that make huge amounts of money off of, literally, it's called forex trading, just trading foreign monies against each other. People make money doing this. This is ridiculous. There's nothing to be proud of about that, because if you're making money that way, you're just making money because the system is inefficient, because it's flawed. And that's ultimately why, with the paper monies, which up until the past several decades ago, at least in America, they completely, it used to be an IOU for gold, like it was originally invented to be, but now it's not even that, so they're literally completely worthless. Paper dollars are worth whatever heat you can generate by burning them, okay? But they are still valued because there's a very serious need to have money. Money it's a technology, it's a product that people use, and it has inconceivable utility. People accept money for anything you can think of, literally, okay? So money is a huge invention, a very important invention, and technology. And so people use the least bad money in a global context, okay? There are tons of examples of hyperinflation. I read on the internet it costs 5 trillion Zimbabwe dollars for a loaf of bread, okay? So what money people use, even in this fiat system, is the money that is least bad. And the money that is least bad is the money with, well, actually, that's not even necessarily true, but usually the least bad. That has a lot to do with it, because they're all bad because they all inflate, which means if you just hold on to it, then you'll lose money, which is a problem, obviously, not a good thing. But the least bad because there are the authorities that are responsible, that oversee the money, the creation of the money, the monetary policy, that are the most trusted, that you can trust the most, to not debase it with lots of inflation or corruption, these types of things. So there's also an element of having a monopoly on violence. Like a US dollar wouldn't be worth anything if the American empire was toppled and didn't exist anymore. which is happened before, right? I mean, the British money used to be the global reserve currency when they had a global empire or monopoly on violence, but that crumbled in the early 20th century. And it's actually really interesting how they debased their currency to fund their efforts in World War I to stop Germany. But the point is, Bitcoin is the solution to all of these problems, in the history of money and the progression of money. Everything that makes a unit of account, a store of value, or a medium of exchange superior to one that came before it, Bitcoin is the answer on every single point. There are 6 characteristics of money: acceptability, portability, durability, fungibility, scarcity. I forget the 6th, but Bitcoin is the answer. It is the I mean the word perfect doesn't mean anything, but it is superior. It's superior in every way to previous stores of value, and answers questions like inflation. People seek a way to save, just to keep something safe in case they need it. And historically, that's mostly been gold, but gold still inflates. We still find more gold. We could go mine an asteroid someday, right? Gold it inflates. It's not a perfect store of value. With Bitcoin, it is. We know exactly how many Bitcoins will ever be created, 21 million, and that is set in stone. That cannot change. So beyond this, there's no third party, which completely, like, banking is the biggest, I'm pretty sure the biggest industry on the planet, and Bitcoin renders banks useless, okay? The third parties that enable people to interact and trade, this entire industry, Bitcoin solves it. You no longer need any of that. And these are really big topics. I'm just trying to give a brief overview. But I mean, it's honestly on some level kind of hard to break it down. Like it's like in my head trying to break it down as simply as possible, but it's just so obvious to me. That's kind of hard to do. But I guess Bitcoin is just so incredible. And I think that if you look at the annualized returns of Bitcoin since it was created, and something like, it was like 2010, it's something like 200% per year average increase. This is literally unbeatable. This has never happened ever before. And because it has done that for 12, 13 years now, I think this fact alone should compel every person aware of it, because it's true. I mean, it's like the kind of thing that, like, saying that this produces on average a 200% annual return. It's a very classic. Oh, that's too good to be true, dude. No, it literally has done that. It's literally just actually what has happened. And that fact alone is reason enough for any person to give Bitcoin a serious investigation to try to understand it from a place of an open mind. Why is this going up in value? Why is it not corruptible? Why don't people steal Bitcoins? Why is the system still running? I mean, there's huge money if there were holes in what Bitcoin promises to be. If you could hack it or something, you'd be the richest man on the planet, okay? So it's a bit on Bitcoin, but I guess to sum this up, I think that we really gotta appreciate the things that are just baked into our lives, namely the internet and applications. I learned how to use Excel the other day. It is mind-blowing. I watched a two-hour basic introduction breakdown of the capabilities of Excel. It's insane to me. It's insane to me that not everyone learns that in school. Bro, goddamn Excel it's amazing. And if you can learn it, then it will change your life, okay? And that's just true for all the technology. If you are literate with it, and if you understand the potential and how you can use it to do what you want to do, the sky is literally the freaking limit, okay? And I mean, literally, we got Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk that own space companies and that built them, basically, right? But that's another thing that I think is the reason for the problem. I think I kind of touched on this earlier, but that understanding the, I lost my train of thought, but understanding the freedom that we have and viewing it as a good thing, and recognizing that the vacuum of compelled behavior, the vacuum of compelled behavior, the lack of restriction on what we are capable of doing and thinking and reading and pursuing needs to be understood as literally, I mean, a miracle. It's a goddamn miracle that we have all this freedom. And if you are you cannot have all this freedom and know that you have all this freedom and say, oh man, well, there's not anything that's immediately obvious for me to go do and commit myself to. We need to understand that you, as an individual, need to define that. And that is a blessing that you get to define that and pursue whatever you want, however you want. And it's something I've realized, it's a lifelong, it will always be changing. You don't have to say, you shouldn't try to define something and just say that's it. This is what I'm doing. It should be understood that it's always going to evolve and continue to change as you grow and learn and work on it. And I'm tired of the pessimism, and I'm tired of fake optimism. They're both so outplayed, man. I'm so bored of all that. And I hope that we can move forward with more optimism in our lives. So, good luck.